Hi there, Cindy Benson here. You're looking at my ranch, or part of it. One of the keys to creating successful livestock guardian dogs is to managing their environment. How big it is, where it is, what it's next to, all kinds of considerations. This little pen right here is my most valuable training tool on my ranch. This ranch is 360 acres. There's 15 fields that I can put dogs in, at least. Most of them are big like this or bigger, but this little pen is very, very versatile, and I'd like to tell you about why. So in creating a landing place for puppies to come, which is where it usually starts for people, puppies need to feel safe. They need to have some shelter. They need to have kind of a den situation that they can retreat in, but they need to be able to see out really well so that they can learn what's normal in their new environment, so they can be way back there and look out here from their safety of their little corner and look at what moves around on this property and listen to what it sounds like and smells. That's the beginning of their success on a property. The first 48 hours are super important, as I've talked about a million times. So taking puppies in a house or anywhere that they're not going to actually work someday does not help them be confident as quickly as they can be, and it creates a disconnect for them, because where they start in that first 48 hours or even the first week or so is their base. It's their safe base. And so if that safe base is in the house and then they go out here in the field to work, they don't have the ability to retreat back to their safe base, and that's a problem. So puppies are also really vulnerable and physically vulnerable. They can be eaten. I absolutely do not allow puppies to be frightened. And there are a lot of ways that you can create situations where puppies don't need to be frightened. If I were to start 9 to 12-week-old puppies for the first few nights on my ranch, I would build some fencing off the front of this. Typically, in my use in the past, has been 4 hog panels, so 4 16-foot panels, so that the puppies can run back inside or run out here and around the edges and look around. That helps them feel confident, because they know that area is defined for them. They're not responsible for this yet. They're only responsible for where they can walk. And so that helps them feel safe. The other thing is, for me here, I have lots of adult LGDs that can mentor puppies. And so that's a really nice thing, and I certainly take advantage of it. But it isn't essential to start puppies that way, particularly if you have 2 puppies. So hopefully you've purchased puppies from someone that used them, raised them in a barn, and from livestock guardian dogs, and so hopefully before you got them, what smelled normal was livestock in livestock areas, and looking at the livestock and being close to them is comforting. So if I didn't have any dogs to mentor puppies that I'd put in this little area, then I would bring in sweet animals, small sweet animals like sweet sheep or sweet goats, and I would put flakes of alfalfa every day up against this fence line, so that they come and let the puppies get a good look at them. They're hold still to eat, so they're predictable. The puppies can come and go and check them out as they feel brave enough to do so. So they need companionship. They need a social connection beyond just themselves. And so if you don't have other dogs to give them livestock. Give them a small, safe area as perceived by them. If I brought a single puppy home and that puppy was terrified, no matter what I did in this environment, I would sleep with him. I would not leave him there to be scared and suffer. That's not good for anybody. It's not humane, in my opinion. So when puppies feel safe enough to not be in this small area, I open up one end of it and I let them have this whole thing in the daytime, and then I put them back in the smaller area at night if they seem like they need it. When they start looking really bold and cruising all around, all the time, and when I look out from my window and they're outside at night looking at everything, that's how I know that I can make that fencing bigger. So I may take this whole fencing around the barn here down and just give them this. And this is a really valuable field for a few reasons. So one of the things that's really critical in creating a landing spot, a safe small pen for LGDs, is that they be able to walk the whole perimeter. So this is 5 feet from that fence. This barn is 2 feet from that fence. So nothing impedes a dog's ability to go all the way around the edge, over and over and over, without having to double back. So if a pup was working this way and then had to go around here and then back and then up here and around here and back, that doesn't create as nice a rhythm for the pup. It's not the end of the world, but it isn't ideal, and that's why that building is not against a fence line. That's why there's a pass-through behind it. This is an area that I use to train dogs a lot. Adult dogs, or anybody that I want to have working with livestock that I'm not sure if they're going to be able to handle it real well. I'll put a few little creatures in here and go in with the dog on a long line. When they get to a point where I feel like I can take them off, I can do that in here and stand around with them, and I generally can hang out in the center here, and they can't get very far from me anywhere. So if they get silly with livestock or they get scared and I want to give them a safety net and not have them have a long fear memory, I can step in front of a dog in most of these situations. So a long narrow pen isn't as valuable to me. A big pen is not valuable to me at all. There are times in living with LGDs where working around with them in the general population is unhandy. Like if I had tractors out here, or I had strangers out here, or ranch slaughtering happens. There's lots of times where putting the dogs in a smaller area so that they can visually guard and be aware of all this, but know that they don't have to go out there and stand next to it and be responsible for it, is a great option. Dogs that are young that are working out here can have a night that's scary. If they look like that in the morning, the next night I'm going to give them this again, because it's a small, safe landing place. So this is a really important piece of LGD management. Anytime if an adolescent dog is having trouble keeping his brain together with livestock, being able to immediately put him in a small area like this is really critical, or immediately put the livestock in here and let the dog keep the large area. There's just lots of times where you need to be able to intervene and separate and use the environment to do that. So when I put dogs in here and I'm taking away responsibility from them, like dogs that are out here, I do it really joyfully. I make it a big party. If I think it's going to be stressful for them to be in there, like if there's people out here and they're worried about it, I'll give them something to chew on. I don't do toys and bones almost ever, but in this situation I would, because I want them going into this pen to be a happy association. I don't want it to be punitive. But I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea. I think that pen is 100 by 100, and right here is my house, so anybody that's in there that I need to keep an eye on, I can see. Like I was standing outside my office window when I took this photo, so I can keep an eye on everybody really well, and I can, by watching young dogs, I can see when they start to get bored and cocky, which is when I give them a little more responsibility. So a lot of LGD training comes from observing the dogs and making changes in their environment to help their behavior go back to what you want it to be. So a dog that's afraid gets some responsibility taken away from him so he feels safe. A dog that is having a hard time behaving himself around livestock gets moved into a situation like this so that he's not learning behaviors that he shouldn't learn while supervised training happens. So I hope this answers some questions about what a good spot landing place for an LGD can be. Thanks.